Today I want to share with you 5 ways my life has changed in unexpected ways since I've moved away from the occult and started a relationship with God, following his message, following his words. And these changes only dawned on me just the other day, even though I've been pursuing a relationship with him for about 8 months now. The first change that I've noticed is a ceasing in a way of constantly seeking answers. What I'm talking about here is with the occult, there are so many different threads, there's so many different avenues you can go down that all seem to promise an answer, promise the way, promise that if you do this, then you will get that. As I mentioned in my testimony video, which I will link below and I'll link here as well, is that the search is never ending. It just goes on and on and on, and one way leads to the next, and you just get caught in this maze. Well, that's how it felt to me. What I've noticed since moving away from the occult is that answers seem to come to me naturally. And that is through developing a relationship with God and learning to hear his voice and learning to discern what's God's voice and what's my own voice, and being able to then learn to be obedient and follow his guidance, because he's God and who knows better than anybody? He does, not us. And I've been so used to doing everything by my own will, my way, my force, my energy, my push, my must make it happen energy. So it's been very interesting to notice that shift of answers coming through to me, even sometimes when I haven't even specifically asked the questions. It's like he knows what information to give me, or he knows what to say and when, and he's doing a very, very good job at guiding me forwards right now. And it's a real change in state of affairs in how I've been running my life and my business and my work, to how things have shifted now. So the answers are free flowing to me in a way that they hadn't done before. It was always me, the seeker, me trying to get an answer or pull it out of the air from here, there or everywhere from my own mind, which only gets you so far, if anywhere at all in some cases. So that's been a beautiful shift and a beautiful realization for me over the last few days. The other thing is that doubts and fears seem to be falling away. I seem to have a lot more peace now. Probably if you don't know it me, you'd think I'm quite peaceful anyway, quite confident, quite self-assured, and I am to a large degree, and probably to a greater degree than most people. But still, I'm human. I have my doubts, I have my fears, I have my worries. But I've noticed, that they're just falling away, and I have a lot more serenity. And part of that, I think, is handing a lot over to God now. Handing over things that do worry me, or that do concern me, or that are taking up too much thinking time. And I just think, right, over to you, God, you can take care of that. And it is bringing a lot of peace of mind and a lot less elements of stress or as I say, fears, worries, doubts, those kind of normal things. Now, my normal human brain does kick in, so I'm not completely absolved from that. But it is really, really nice change and a shift in the energy to have that peace of mind to a greater degree than before. And the other thing is that there's less push, as I've mentioned, and just more flow. And I feel I'm being shown step by step what to do next. So whereas before I would probably create a plan, do my best to stick to it, look for the next 6 months ahead, where I want to be. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but that was very much my structure. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. These are the steps I'm going to take. And I kind of had it all planned out in my mind, and sometimes on paper as well, or on a spreadsheet, for instance. But I've let go of a lot of that. And yes, my calling and my purpose remains the same, naturally, but the need to know the next step, every step of the way for the next months or 6 weeks or 6 months even, that's fallen away. And what's happening now is God is showing me step by step. First you do this, and then I'll show you the next step. Then you do that, and then I'll show you what to do next. So it's really a lot different. But it's also a test for me, because I've been so uber independent my whole life and in business, in control of everything. For me to hand that over and trust in God, to trust that he is who he says he is, and to trust his wisdom over my own mind and over my own will and over my own way. But in doing so, there's just this flow that I'm feeling now, and it's a nice pace. It's not push, it's not hustle, it's not must do, got to get it done. I'm not saying that's never going to be the case, and yes, you have to of course take action, but it's just a different vibe now, and it's one where there's just more harmony. And with that being said, I'm learning that there's a time for peace and rest and waiting, and then a time for action. And I have always been one to feel guilty if I'm not working every day. Often when people ask me, oh, what are you doing today, or what are you doing tomorrow, I say, I'm working, because it's what I love to do. It's my passion. I'm following my purpose. But consequently, I would feel a lot of guilt if I did not work, practically every day anyway. If I took time to rest or took time to chill out for too long, I start thinking, oh no, I've got to work. And I felt like my results were based on the amount of effort I was putting out, which isn't, of course, the case. But that's how I had trained myself, or perhaps even been trained. And I'd absorbed that from the culture, the hustle culture, the independent woman culture, the entrepreneurial culture, all these things, you soak them all in. And it can be hard to unpick them and unwind them, but I found it actually quite easy to do now that I have got this relationship with God, now that He is showing me the way, rather than me navigating the way all by myself all the time, as I've been used to. And so now, in times of rest, I don't feel bad, I don't feel guilty, I don't feel like, oh, I need to do something now, or don't do something. Everything's going to fall apart, perhaps. There's a bit of that in it as well. But then I'm also recognising when there is time for action, when there is time for doing. So it's really beautiful, restful, kind of easeful change in that regard. And I've mentioned this one here and there before, but it's about feeling more feminine. And I guess that is related to the things I've just talked about. I'm not in that push mode as much. I'm not in that hustle mode. I'm releasing a lot of my worries and handing them over to God. I'm listening to His guidance rather than following my will and my way. And it does bring out, I've always felt very feminine. And I love being a woman. But it's really nice to embrace this extra layer of femininity that I hadn't tapped into, I don't think, before, or at least not for a very long time. So it's really beautiful. There's a lot more grace and a lot more flow and a lot more femininity and a lot more happiness in a way. Things feel a lot lighter. And the trusting in God thing, it can be difficult. I have struggled with that, and I'm sure I will struggle with it again. But this is where I am right now, and these changes, I only just realised them all recently. So I just wanted to share that with you. If you're on your journey with God, perhaps you're having difficulty handing things over to Him, letting Him take the reins a bit, listening to His guidance, trusting that He's doing the right things for you, and allowing yourself to obviously not step out of the picture of your life. You're still there. But just do it in a different way and do it with God. And it is really, really totally, a beautiful thing. Really, really lovely thing that I'm experiencing. So I just wanted to share that with you, because there's so many different ways to do life and business. And I think that was one of my sayings, if your taglines, like your life, your business, your way, no compromise. And I still don't believe you have to compromise on the things that you want in life. I don't think God expects you or wants you to compromise it. You have so much authority on this earth that He's given you. Access to so many things, supernatural things. So I am enjoying this change and this switch and this journey and the next step and the next step, and I'm excited. I'm so excited about the next 6 months, actually. And I don't know why exactly. I've just got this 6 month time frame that God's showing me, like this window, but He's going to fill in the gaps as I go along. At the moment, that's the way it is, but I just feel that it's going to be a time of beautiful shift, growth, impact as well, reaching the women of influence that I'm here to reach, who are here to fulfill their purpose, to fulfill their calling, to do the work that they're meant to do in the world. And I can't wait to help so many more women as I go on this part of my journey. So I hope you'll join me. If you want to have a call with me at any point, I do offer consultations, private one-to-one, of course. So I'll put the link for that below, and I'd love to speak to you about where you are on your journey, what help you need, what support you need, what guidance you need, or if it's something in a practical sense as well. Even if you're not, haven't like turned your life over to God or anything like that, you don't have to. Of course, I'm very new on my journey, but I'm just letting you know that help is available if you would like it. Let me know in the comments what changes you've noticed. If you're on this journey towards God or with God at the moment, what kind of changes have you noticed coming in for you? What unexpected changes have you noticed? And of course, it can be a whirlwind as well. I've experienced kind of a loss of identity at one point. I remember a friend asking me, like, how are you? I don't know who I am at the moment. I don't know. I kind of had lost parts of myself so much. I'd been taken away by God. I felt like, who's this person now? Who am I becoming? So it can be like a real whirlwind. I'll talk about that at another point. If anybody's interested in that, just let me know. I definitely will do that. But in the meantime, let me know what changes you've experienced, and I can't wait to speak to you soon. Lots of love. Bye for now.